There we go. Wow. Sorry for the weird camera angle, folks. My battery, as usual, always dies when I need it to, so I've got it plugged to the charger right now, so... weird-ass camera angle. Anyway, hey guys, what's going on? NGS back again for another video. Vlog 91, if I am correct. What are we going to talk about today? Well, first and foremost, I want to point something out for the 100 of you who have been questioning me about it. Ask Neo! Oh my god, Neo! Where are the latter parts to this epic saga? Where's 3, 4, and 5? And when the hell are you going to release it on Blu-ray? Well, for the people who are wondering about the Blu-ray release, I just got off the phone with Warner Brothers, and we have made an agreement to release Ask Neo Episode 13, the whole epic saga, all 2 hours and 30 minutes of it, on home media. So you get the Blu-ray DVD digital combo pack. You can expect a release of that around the time Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out, so I say roughly 2024. And judging by the way Square Enix is going, yeah, 2024 seems about right. But in all seriousness, oh yeah, Ask Neo, everyone's wondering where it is. I really gotta thank you guys for watching the past 2 episodes, well, past 2 parts of episode 13. I've gotten really good positive feedback, and rightfully so, because I really like doing Ask Neo. It's really fun. You guys ask a lot of interesting questions. So I don't think it'd be right for me to just like ditch it in between, you know, start something good and then cancel it, you know. I just be like Fox, you know, put a series on the air, doesn't matter if it's good, bad, people like it, people hate it, they cancel it anyway. So I can tell you guys that Ask Neo is not canceled, at least episode 13. It is not shelved, it's not in the back burner. What had happened was, when I was getting ready to upload episode 13 part 3, that's going to become a mouthful to say, the original master file got corrupted. You know, there was a storm going on, you know, rain, snow, all that good stuff. And, you know, there was a slight power outage for like 5 minutes. So, for some reason, this has never happened to me before. But like I said, things happen. And the original master file got corrupted. I couldn't upload it, I couldn't edit it, I couldn't convert it whatsoever. So I couldn't save it. And part 3 was such a good part. So I made the executive decision, Trent, if you're watching, throwback Miss Amato's class. I made the executive decision to scrap parts 4 and 5 and end up re-recording it because it just wouldn't flow well, because the way I ended off part 3, it leads directly into part 4 and vice versa. You know, it just, you know, that's the problem, you know, with me. If it's not good at one point, I'm not going to upload it, or I'm going to have to re-record it. So that's what I did. But don't worry, you guys, to make it up to you, I'm giving you guys the chance to ask more questions. For those who haven't submitted any questions, here's your chance to send me a question via YouTube PM, and I will definitely answer it to the best of my ability if I can. For those who are wondering if I have answered their questions, you know, if you submitted it before January 16th, chances are I probably answered it in parts 3, 4, or 5. Definitely. So if you did submit a question, I probably answered it. For those who haven't, send me questions. For those who have sent in questions, please don't send any more for this episode, because, you know, I want to give everybody the chance to ask a question. And I know you guys all have great questions, you know, so that's why I want to spread the love around, you know, spread the attention. But like I said, Ask Neo isn't canceled, so episode 14 will be out probably next year. So, yeah, you can look forward to that. So that's just a quick update. At least part 3 will be up sometime this week after I, you know, sit down, because recording an hour and a half video is it's monumental, to say the least. I mean, sitting there, you know, you got your necessary liquids to drink, and, you know, you got to get your snacks going, and you got to get the brain juice flowing. So, yeah, it'll be up. That's all I could say. Now, anyway, since you guys have probably already noticed the background, what are we going to talk about first? Well, if you guys are interested in Naruto video games, the demo for Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm Generation, I don't know why for the longest time I kept saying generations, but it clearly says generation right there, so I have to start calling it that, was released on the Japanese PlayStation Network. If you want to download the demo for yourselves, all you have to do is create a Japanese PlayStation Network account. It's just as easy as creating an account for any country in the world. All you have to do is just put in bullshit information, and if you can work your way around the PSN, then you can know how to create an account. What you do is, once you create the account, go to the Japanese PlayStation Store, the great thing is, since it's a new release, you just go to the top right hand corner where it says what's new. Scroll down so you see Naruto in English text. Bing, bada, boom, download it. It's like a gigabyte, so yeah, that's what you have to do. Now, what did I think of the demo? First thing, what I want to point out is my Twitter feed was really mixed when it came to the Storm Generations demo. You know, there were people saying, oh, this is awesome, they've tweaked and improved the system so much, this is what I was expecting. And you got people who were saying that, oh my god, this is so underwhelming, what the hell, did they even change anything at all? These looks like, you know, cut, copy, rehashes. And, wow, it's just so mixed, you know. That's like the thing with Generations. As a game itself, you've got people saying it's going to be awesome. You got people saying it's nothing but a 0.5. So really, why was I expecting anything less to happen to the demo? You know, with the game already being so mixed, of course the demo would be too. But what did I think about it? Well, the demo is set up into 3 different fights. You've got Naruto versus Sasuke, then you've got Naruto, Stage 1 Naruto versus Pain, and then you have a new section, which is Naruto versus Madara. And all I gotta say is I fucking love it. That's all I really have to say. I put this up on my Twitter. It's not the big changes, it's not the big things that really make Storm Generations, you know, pop in your face, you know. It's the small tweaks and the small little things that CyberConnect 2 has added, you know, they've implemented, that really make the system a lot more fluid and a lot more satisfying. You know, you've got the new things like combo canceling, the substitution limit. You've got those are great and all, but the fighting, it just seems a lot more fluid, easier to connect combos. I find myself having a lot more fun with that as opposed to playing Storm 2. And, you know, if you have played it enough, you can definitely know the difference, you know, in gameplay style. At first glance, it's going to be, oh man, this is the same shit, man. They didn't change anything. But you have to play it for a bit to see the changes, you know. Substitution is now its own button, you know. The guard button is separate. Substitution, you just press that, I know, my friend Jared Venombly, he brought this up. Oh man, you spent so much time accurately timing when you did substitution, and now it's just a button, you press it whenever. Fuck this shit! You know? Which I guess can be a bit annoying, you know, if you got someone like Conmeister who's a pro at his substitution. It is something of annoyance. Now you just have a button, press it, you're gone. But like I said, there's a limitation to that, so you gotta think wisely. What did I think of the substitution meter? You know, I mean, it's great and all, but I think that only a couple substitutions per game is a bit too limiting. You know, maybe they should have an option where they have like a different like a different, what can I say, it's like, you know, you got classic mode where there's no substitution bar, but substitutions take a lot more chakra, and then you can have the substitution bar where that is just there. I think generally that's going to be, you know, you have your limited substitution bars for people who want it, but for those who want to actually play with no limitations, but it takes more chakra, and you can still do substitutions in the game, I think that'd be cool as an alternate game type. You never know. And that's really all I could say on the Storm Generations demo. You know, I'm going to wait till the actual game comes out, you know, play with the other characters, play the story mode, play the online, because this is only a piece, guys. This is only a fragment. Like, you don't play a demo and expect that's going to be the entire game, you know, because demos, betas, all that stuff can be deceiving. I mean, it can give you a general impression of what the game's going to be like, but, you know, this is such a small portion. Such a small portion. So, you know, there's more than meets the eye, especially when you're playing a demo. So I will be getting Storm Generations, everybody knows that. Not sure if I'm getting it day 1, week 1, or maybe even in the month of March, because there are more high-profile releases, like I said. But, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Is that all I had to discuss on Storm Generations? Let me see. Yeah, actually, you know what? There was something pretty interesting that I read an article on this, and actually, if you follow CyberConnect 2 on Twitter, which I definitely recommend you guys do, they really like getting in touch with their fans. They recently, in an interview they did, they pointed out something that I don't think I ever would have noticed unless someone did say it, but now that I do see it, it actually makes a lot of sense. The differences between the East and the West when it comes for the expectations for Generations. They posted up that when it came to what the East wants and what the West wants, the East part, which is primarily Japan, you know, the Japanese gamers, what they're looking for with Storm Generations are improvements to the system. You know, they want to add like more layers of depth. You know, they're more focused on the fighting mechanics. But when you go over to the West and you look at what the majority of people, I'm not saying all, but the majority of people want, you know, characters, you know, jutsus, you know, awakenings, all that stuff. And I'm like, wow, you know, because if you actually look at the comments that people post, majority-wise, like I said, I gotta mention this, most people, they care more about content as opposed to improving the system. Where I fall in this, I'm always in the middle for everything, you know. I agree with those who want content in the game, they want to get their money's worth, but then again, what point is there to have 100 characters, but then the system isn't that refined, you know? And CyberConnect 2, I think they have a pretty good balance of appealing to the guys who want to play it for fighting and the guys who want to play it for, you know, the characters. The way they're going with Generations, you know, over 75 characters, and we're getting a tweaked fighting system, I think that's the best of both worlds. But, you know, just to play devil's advocate for the side of the West, the ones who, you know, want just characters, you know, when it comes to a story perspective, this is one of my main problems with Ultimate Tenkaichi. They missed out on key characters, so the storytelling was kind of wonky. It's like, how are you not going to have this character when he plays such a big part? This is a big fight, and he's not there. It's like, what? Hello, what? Not JPEG? Huh? But then again, there are some idiots out there, and yes, I am going to refer to them as idiots, who say, oh, the Sound 4 is not in the game. I'm not buying it. Sound 4 or bust. The Sound 4, really? You niggas that serious? If the Sound 4 is not in the game, you're not gonna buy it. Okay. Like, that makes any sense whatsoever. No Sound 4 equals no purchase of this game. Yeah, it might have some epic boss fights. It might have a better fighting system. It might have great online. It might be supported with DLC, patches, you know, everything we wanted out of Storm 2. But no Sound 4, I'm not gonna buy it. You know, that's how idiotic sometimes it gets. I mean, you get the logical people who say, but it's going to affect the story because we're not going to have the epic Butterfly Choji fight or Drunken Lee. Yeah, that makes sense, but only to an extent, you know? Only to an extent because compared to the other amount of content that's in the game, I think that'll suffice for, you know, no Sound 4. I mean, come on, guys. Seriously, if you want to play with the Sound 4 so badly, go play GNT4. Go play Ultimate Ninja 3 or Ultimate Ninja 5 or something. You know, it's not like that big a deal. It's not Sound 4 or bust! Petition! You know, I mean, it only goes so far. Anyway, that's something that people could debate on for ages and ages and ages, and we'd still get nowhere because everybody will want more. I want minuscule character A. I want this random ninja who appeared in 5 seconds of the anime. I want him, you know. Whatever. Anyway, that's all I could talk about the Storm Generations demo. Go download it if you haven't got a chance. There currently is no demo available for the Xbox 360, and it is not available on the PlayStation Network US or the Xbox Live US branch. But CyberConnect 2, they have stated that they do have plans to release the demo internationally and also on the 360, so you can look forward to soon. What else are we going to talk about today? Let's switch it up from gaming to real life. School. Yeah, I started up my second semester of college last week, and I gotta say, you know, one of the best tools that I've ever utilized as far as, you know, picking courses for college would be ratemyprofessor.com or .org or whatever it is. They're coming out with new dots every single day. You know how when you have high school and middle school, you know, most of the time your classes are assigned to you based on, you know, if you take an advanced class, they assign you to this teacher. You know, it's always about thumbs up, I'm going to get this teacher, you know, fingers crossed, whatever. But in college, it's very different, you know. Not only can you choose the professor you want, but you can actually choose the times you want to take the classes. And the way I set up my schedule, it appeals to like everything that I need, you know. There are days when I just want to sleep into noon. There are days where I work better in the afternoon, you know, towards the night. And there's sometimes where I'm able to work early in the morning, you know. That's why the way my schedule is set up, it's like I got one morning class here, one afternoon class, next day just one class, next day repeat, and then I have like one afternoon class, one night class. Like I'll do a video, I say like in 7 months' times, you know, tips for college, what you can expect in college from my personal experiences. Because when people, they regularly send me questions on, like, I'm going to college soon, like, what can I expect? What's going to happen? You know, it's different from everybody. I can just tell you that, you know, if you're dorming, if you're commuting, the professors, you know, the courses that are offered, it's a very different experience for everybody. But there is a general agreed on thing that college, you're going to have a lot more free time. At least the first 2 years, a lot more free time than you would have like high school. You know, because high school, you go like 8 to 3 or sometimes 8 to 2 or whatever. And I'm looking at that like right now, man, I learned nothing in high school. I really did. I really didn't learn anything. Like, you look at it now, it's like, what the hell were we learning? Because you go into college and you're like, man, I don't need that shit. But, you know, that's a whole nother topic for another discussion. Yeah, so college is going good so far. Yeah, let's talk about gaming again. Oh boy, Resident Evil 6. Yeah. As you can tell, I'm very enthusiastic about the release of the next Resident Evil game. You know, me and the Resident Evil franchise, it's really become a love-hate thing. I mean, I played the original 3 games back in the day when I was a kid, you know. I didn't really find them scary at all, you know, but I respected others' opinions on why they thought they were scary. And it wasn't until Part 4 that I really got into the franchise, you know. I really liked the change of pace, you know, that Part 4 did. There was a bit more action to it, but it still felt like Resident Evil, you know, minus the pedophile undertones. Yeah, you know, you know what I'm talking about if you've played Resident Evil 4. And with Part 5, from what it was looking at, I'm like, you know, man, this maybe this will actually be the game that actually brings Resident Evil back, you know, because it was absent, you know, for a while. We got like some spin-offs for the Wii and stuff. But when I played Resident Evil 5, you know, the way I look at Resident Evil 5 is like this. It's a good game if you don't think of it as Resident Evil. Why? Because it is just such a departure, and not in the good way. I mean, there's more action, there's more quick-time events, there's more shooting in it. I mean, it just really didn't feel like Resident Evil. It just felt like something else developed in the style of Resident Evil, but more geared towards the West. And, you know, with Resident Evil 6, I'm like, oh god, what are they going to do? Are they just going to continue with 5? Are they going to reboot it? What? And with Resident Evil 6, oh man, everyone's hyping the trailer up. It's talked about every single day. This is going to be so awesome. It's a return to survival horror. You've got Leon Kennedy and Chris Redfield teaming up for some awesome action. The President! And, you know, I don't even know what to think of Resident Evil 6, because I had hope for the game that, you know what, maybe Capcom will change my mind. Even though it's Capcom. They have not done anything good this generation. Well, outside of like 1 or 2 games. You get what I'm saying. Capcom equals evil. But all of that was just put to rest when I heard Capcom said this. Link down below for anyone who's going to say, oh, you're just bullshitting. No, link down below. Capcom wants to attract the Call of Duty audience for Resident Evil. Yeah, well, let me repeat that. Capcom wants the 12-year-old fraghead gamers who don't know any real games to begin with, the people who think it's Call of Duty or bust, they want those guys playing Resident Evil. So it made more sense for them to make Resident Evil more into an action franchise, because it sold more with number 5. But you know what, Capcom, the reason why Resident Evil 5 sold so much, well, number 1, it was on multiple platforms. Of course, it's going to garner more sales. Number 2, it was really anticipated. It was 5 years in the making. Of course, hype is going to grow. Number 3, it's the first Resident Evil game released on a high-definition platform. So, yeah, I don't think it was really action that was driving the sales of Resident Evil 5. Yeah. And you really have to look at Resident Evil 5. Resident Evil 5 is probably the most mixed game in the franchise. It's really polarizing, like number 13, Final Fantasy. You know, there's some people who like it, there's some people who don't think it's Resident Evil, and then there's the ones who think, oh, you know, it's good if you just don't think of it as Resident Evil, and that's me. So they want to bring the Call of Duty gamers into Resident Evil. Well, they've already done that with Operation Raccoon City. It's being made by Canadian developer Slant6, who made the abysmal SOCOM Confrontation and the piece of shit SOCOM Fireteam Bravo 3. Oh, that just destroyed the franchise on PSP. They're making Operation Raccoon City, and that game looks like... I don't even have to say anything. And with Resident Evil 6, guys, listen, trailers can be deceiving, good or bad. They can make a trailer look like the most epic thing in the world. Likewise, it can make it look like the shittiest thing, but you play it and it's awesome. You know? I'm not going to prejudge Resident Evil 6 right now, but honestly, Capcom, I don't know what to think. That statement saying they want to attract the Call of Duty gamers, so it makes more sense to do more action for Resident Evil. Well, why don't you do a new franchise and focus that on action? Don't bring that into Resident Evil. Don't. Resident Evil is less survival horror than it ever was. And like I said, I'm going to wait and I'm going to judge. But from right now, it's not looking good. It really isn't. And like I said, it's Capcom, so Capcom does wrong a lot. And with Street Fighter Cross Tekken, oh, we're going to support it with DLC. No more updated editions every year. Yeah, you guys are cheering for DLC, but you know what kind of DLC that's going to be? Next Gen Striker. We already know, bro. DLC, disc-locked content. Disc-locked content. There's your DLC. Oh, look, a new character for Street Fighter Cross Tekken. $5, download 6 kilobytes. What? Yep, that's the route. Anyway, I really have no more hope in the Resident Evil franchise. I mean, even with Revelations, I was gonna get Revelations day one, but that bullshit statement Capcom said, oh, Resident Evil Revelations is such a massive game that we have to charge $10 extra more for it. And I'm like, what? Yeah, we're using a bigger cartridge, so we have to charge more money. Yeah, a flash cartridge, a thing that takes pennies to make. We gotta charge an extra $10 for that. Oh yeah, so you know what? You know what, man, fucking Naughty Dog guys, man, they used a dual layer Blu-ray disc. You know, Guerrilla Games, they used a dual layer Blu-ray disc for Killzone 3, man. It's 41 gigabytes. I don't know why a game needs to be that big. The graphics in Killzone 3 ain't that impressive when you got Crysis 2. You know, but you don't see them charging more money for a dual layer Blu-ray disc, and Blu-ray discs aren't cheap, people. They aren't cheap. So how the hell is Capcom going to say, we gotta charge more for Resident Evil Revelations? You don't see Naughty Dog pulling that shit. No. No, you don't. So Capcom, man, they be trolling, and then people just nom 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 nom. Eat that shit up like it was cereal. But man, I don't even know. It's just so funny to laugh at this. Anyway, trolls, comment below. Oh, man. Yeah. I think that's it. I think that's it for this vlog, everybody. Storm Generations demo, Resident Evil, College, Ask Neo update. I've gotten back into reading the manga that I've purchased, you know, because ever since I bought it, I'm like, oh yeah, awesome. But then it's just been sitting on my shelf looking pretty. But since I have more free time in college, like I said, I've gotten down to read some Pokemon. I just finished Volume 3, I'm on Volume 4 now. And, man, these two characters, so goddamn in sync when it comes to... I'm not going to spoil it, so just go read the manga for yourselves. But, yeah, that's it for me for now for this Vlog 91 super long Uber special edition. You can look forward to more Ask Neo sometime this week. And I guess for me for now, I'm NGS signing out. And like always, I will catch you guys later. Peace.